Hey, welcome from Ben, astrologer in the Hollywoods. This is my preview on the telepathy event we have coming up on August 3rd, Facebook. It's a seance with Jimi Hendrix, John Lennon, and a second part is a continuing dialogue I'm having with a woman on Venus who's a commander in the equivalent of a local police force or mayor's office, and David Bottomley, a psychic out of London, and a professor on Jupiter, a dwarf professor on Jupiter, who's also a holy man, who's very eager and earnest to create the etheric bridge across all the planets. He really wants to do it, and so does the woman. And it turns out the woman is genetically as much of a cat as she is a human being. She's a mixture of the two. On some of my videos on benaharris on YouTube, I have pictures of cats and giant statues of cats and ducks on Mars. Apparently, on the outer planets, animals are much more of a luxury than here, where they're actually pilfered. Anyway, so I went out to the coffee shop that's down the street from the planetarium, down by my house here in Hollywood. Sit and relax and think, and wanders in the Venusian lady. Apparently, there's a kind of a triangulation which Canyon Cassidy's working on. I can't really get it. A triangulation to where all three of us are in a maximum position to really beam to each other. And here she comes. And I'm hoping that Dave Bottomley gets the vibe because he wanted to be in on this, but Dave has his own way of working. So now I'm in her office, the beautiful tiled office of the Venusian woman. And she's connecting up with the dwarf, and he's complaining about Saturn and about how crappy everything is, and he's really on a kind of a tirade, so I won't be getting much from him. He thinks of the people on Saturn as like jackals, and from what I've drawn of them, I've been contacting them for 30 years. They are a malevolent bunch of people. They're just nasty people. That's their trip. Anyway, our conversation is going to be centered and is centered on space travel and commerce. And they give me a visual of a planet they go to outside of our solar system. Apparently, it's very far, and they have to drill through something different than our matter. They have to drill through it to get there. It's an oriental world, it's a dark world. There are light worlds with suns that are bright and dark worlds that don't seem to have any sun around and aren't bright. Sometimes they have the sun coming from the inside. Like on Pluto, you can clearly see my videos of Pluto, the sun coming up from the inside. And it's a manufactured satellite for sure. You can actually see the beams. There's what looks like a huge parking structure with a gigantic skull hanging from the side. I'm a cow. That is Pluto. So where do people get these metaphors and analogies? Because they seem to hold up. Mars is leading a mystical life like Grimm's fairy tale. It's going on there right this minute. Giants, dwarves on Jupiter. I mean, it's very strange. No one could make all this up. But anyway, that's basically how the trade works. And that's all I got for this particular instance. We went to what would be the equivalent of an apothecary. And in the apothecary, they picked up raw elements, not so much herbs. But they had a huge shopping list, but a lot of it was raw elements. And some elements I wasn't even familiar with. We don't want to stop in and mess with that. So now that's all I got from them this time around. And I got John Lennon as clear as a bell, and he was really loving what we're doing, joining as a group, holding hands. I've been saying for years, form groups, have the groups connect to groups, and then you have a solid wall of the citizenry all across the world that can really control things. As long as we become individualized and separated by religions, ideas, hair length, on and on and on and on, as long as they can desiccate us down into nothing, we have no strength. The strength is in unity. This etheric bridge we're creating is unity. People that were on this bridge 4 healings ago are getting well when we go into subsequent sessions. The bridge is a solid mass. It's working. We need more people to feed it. Jimi Hendrix, who I made a movie with, was a cool guy, but he was like stoned all the time. He had a lot of emotional problems, Jimmy, and I don't want to go into them. But he stayed stoned constantly. Beautiful soul. Didn't belong here. Really from Jupiter. And Jimmy wants Bill Cosby to be president, and I met Bill Crosby years ago at a vegetarian restaurant called Help, and I thought he was just a beautiful fucking guy, just beautiful. And Louisa Moritz, the comedian, hates him because he bumped her off the Johnny Carson show. But meanwhile, Bill has a Mars at 20 Scorpio, along with Oprah, who has a 20 Scorpio constellation, if I have the right information on Oprah. So those two running the country would be real, because Obama, let's face it, this guy's not black. So, you know. So that's about what I got. I also got that, what was here? That's pretty much it. There's a little more reiteration on the fourth and the third dimension coming together. See my newest video on Ben A. Harris YouTube on the clouds going right by the planetarium in Hollywood. And in the clouds you can see buildings, giants, midgets, weird-looking devices, things with knobs all over them. This is not my opinion. This is a video, pictures taken with a Canon camera into the clouds. I used to think when I saw all those faces on Mars and Jupiter and Venus that they were planting pictures in there. They even had a rumor they were planting pictures, and I thought, God, I'm the ultimate dupe. But they're not planting pictures in the clouds. All right, I love you guys. Website, drbenharris.com. YouTube, it's Ben A. Harris. There's about 250 videos there showing clearly life on all the planets. And once you start to see them and can piece it together, your reality knobs will already be working. Well, I love you guys. Mystical Humanoids is where everything's recorded. Adios.